It doesn't matter how little sleep.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm mad, sad, glad, happy. This music just makes me smile. I think I dream about it sometimes.
Do you? What's with the Atkins stuff here on the table? Are you on an Atkins diet? I had no idea about this.
So my morning nutrition generally is Rain TL, which is a nutrition seed packet, which gives me all the nutrition I need for a day.
Okay.
So if I don't eat one more green, fruit, anything, and then I supplement that with an Atkins shake in the morning. So that's my breakfast every day. So I know I basically have the nutrients for my body before I even step out of my house.
Okay.
And then I drink a big fat 20-ounce glass of water as well.
All right. And that's your breakfast
That's my breakfast every day.
of champions. Okay.
Amen. So I have someone online. Dr. Lisa Hester is with us today. She's being quiet and going, what did I just get myself in the middle of with these two? Doc, say hello to everybody, please.
Hello.
So she couldn't hear the music, so she has no clue how we just got in our vibe mode, but it's okay.
Yeah, Brian was breaking it down. He is getting all kinds of crazy.
I love to dance. So are you a dancer, Lisa?
I actually did used to dance.
What kind?
I used to do ballet, lyrical, and jazz. And I still do ballet, actually. I stopped last year, but I was taking adult ballet classes.
So of all the dancing she does, she kept doing the one that tortures your feet the most.
Well, I haven't gotten on point yet. That was my bucket list, is to get on point at some point and learn one classical combination and then call it a day.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So how old are you, Lise?
Pardon?
How old are you?
I am about to turn 32.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you, I think.
Oh, definitely. It's
Nobody
all good.
wants to get older.
I like getting older because I'm just more knowledgeable, I feel like, as I get older.
Yeah.
And I definitely look better as I'm getting older, so.
Really? That's good.
I'm going to have no comment on that one.
So I met Lisa because I always start with my guests on how we met. So Lisa and I have crossed paths in circles of the cannabis industry. So this is actually going to be a cannabis episode, everybody. Like, we're seriously going to talk about New York State and the cannabis side of it. And Dr. Hester, along with her group, Flowered Wellness LLC out of Buffalo, New York. As soon as I heard about what they do and how they incorporate healthy living and the cannabis plant, I knew I needed to have these guys on. I'm very excited. Have you been, how long have you been around the cannabis plant and thought about that as wellness for people, Lisa?
As medicine and wellness, I would say that component entered my life last June. So I'm a relatively new, or I guess late coming to the cannabis plant from a medicinal perspective. Of course, high school, college, I had a different relationship with cannabis, which I'm sure many people can relate to. But I never understood that there was a medicinal value to it and that it was used in a way to achieve wellness. So my first introduction as a wellness oriented plant was about, I think I heard about it about last June, and then I finally tried just CBD oil last July, and I feel like my whole life changed in 48 hours. So I obviously had some very strong interest into what just happened to me, and just started burying my head in research and understanding the endocannabinoid system and why did this help me, and realized that I just needed to be a part of the industry and make efforts to give people access to it. So
I'm so excited. So what, you got to explain that 48-hour change though. I'm really intrigued now.
Well, I experienced a significant trauma of losing a parent suddenly without any warning. And so that kind of shook up my life a bit, and I just wasn't functioning. I would go to work and then come home and spend the whole day just trying to get myself under control. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't able to leave the house other than going to work. I dreaded the evenings. I just couldn't settle down. I was just completely off my axis, and I kept hearing about CBD oil, and I had been trying everything under the sun, meditation and yoga and Reiki and mindfulness exercises, anything to just stop me from spiraling. And it was mildly effective. And then after my first 4 doses of CBD, my whole internal environment just settled right down. And ever since then, my ability to function has improved even beyond prior to experiencing the loss. So it just changed everything. It was a game changer.
I'm sorry to hear about the loss. It's amazing how sometimes we have to go through tragedy to get to different perspectives.
Oh, for sure. But then you can, instead of look at them as a negative thing, be grateful for them. I think that's the whole difficulty, because I think if you say, oh, well, I lost a parent, but I'm grateful, how do you make sense of that? But until you've experienced it, it can make sense.
That's true. It's a very good way to look at it. And I'm reflecting now back to when my mom passed of pancreatic cancer, and it's killing me now to see a couple studies that have come out where they're talking about different pieces of the plant now that really maybe can target pancreatic cancer or help reduce it or help. And it drives me nuts. But now I'm just thinking in my head, like, I went through a 3-year battle with my mom. I don't know if a sudden loss of my parent or that 3-year battle. I don't, man, that's tough either way. But I felt like for 5 years I wasn't right with when my mom passed. The 3 years we handled it and the 2 years after, I wasn't right. I know I wasn't right. So I can absolutely relate to what you went through. Definitely, and I'm so glad the plant helped you, right? In the endocannabinoid system, talk a little bit about that, right? Because we've been mentioning that in episodes, but you, from perspective of the medical side, talk a little bit about what you learned about that system through this.
So the endocannabinoid system is a system in all mammals and living things that has been around since the beginning of time, and it is comprised of endocannabinoids, which are cannabinoid-like molecules that are very similar to the cannabinoids in plants, but are made by the body. And there's more than 2, but there's 2 main endocannabinoids that are basically looked at in research today. The names of those are anandamide and 2-arachidonyl-acetylglycerol, or 2-AG, or AEA is the abbreviations for it. So there's the actual molecules, and then there are receptors that receive those molecules. If your listeners aren't familiar with receptors are kind of the doormen on a cell. They interact with whatever's coming at it and then attach to it and then basically decide, what are we going to do here? It's either going to send out a signaling pathway that leads to something down the road, or have an immediate reaction right then and there. And the third component are the enzymes that make those molecules and break them down. So all 3 of them are important to work together, because if one's off, then the whole system gets affected. So the endocannabinoid system is present in basically all tissues throughout the human body, and the types of receptors are distributed differently throughout the body. So the receptor that THC interacts with and has a profound effect on is called CB1, and that's more prevalent in the brain, versus CB2, which is more prevalent in the other areas of your body, like the immune system and on tissue cells, and they affect different things. And the interaction between the molecules already in your body and the plant, they kind of work together to create a balance. And so everything comes back to balance. Whatever's going on, if you're in a state of dis-ease, not having a disease, but a state of dis-ease, there's usually a shift in balance in this system where you don't have enough receptors, or you have too many receptors, or you make too much of one of those molecules, or you don't make enough of one of those molecules, or some of the enzymes are not present in the body, or there's too much enzyme. So something somewhere along that line gets shifted, and the result is a state of dis-ease, whether it be anxiety, depression, disordered eating behavior, actual conditions that affect the nervous system, etc. So that's the down and dirty.
So after this episode, you and Justin have to have a little chat. We're trying to diagnose some issues going on with Justin, and I'm just snapping at him right now going, does this sound like you got to talk to her to help you with what you got going on? So how did you get, so you are the Chief Knowledge Officer at Flowered Wellness, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So what's your role with the company? Tell everybody, I love what you guys do and what you guys offer. So tell everybody what you guys do, what your mission is to help people.
We have our fingers in a lot of places. So the mission of Flowered Wellness is basically to simultaneously work to give people access to the cannabis plant for wellness purposes. But more than that, we're trying to facilitate what's called a salutogenic model of healthcare, which is we're going to look at every single thing that could possibly contribute to whatever you're suffering with and trace it completely back to the cause instead of treating the symptoms. And when I say cause, the actual behaviors, the actual environment, and the actual state of your internal environment from a mentality or psychological perspective that has started the cascade that led to this shift and then this shift and then this compensation and then this compensation to now you have a state of disorder and disease in the body. So even nutrition. Okay, so I have a vitamin D deficiency. So I'm going to treat that with a vitamin D supplement. Well, is that really treating the cause? Why are you vitamin D deficient? So we're going to take it even a step further back. So giving vitamin D for a vitamin D deficiency falls within what they call a pathological model. So we're treating a symptom or the cause of a symptom with that specific remedy, but where is the stepping back and looking at the whole picture? So Flowered Wellness is trying to ignite this fire within our community to start making sure that there's a continuity of care and that we're following this model and making sure that people are well and not just treated in a box. So who
makes up your team that helps you do this analysis for people?
Well, that's still within development. We're trying to really determine who the best people are to fit where. So we have the facility and we have partners and practitioners that are operating under the same facility. What we're identifying now is who's your first contact going to be with. And so that model is being fine-tuned at the moment, and we'll probably be launching in about 2 months. So we're very close to having that implementable. It's just a lot of things happening at the same time. We also have another company mission, which is more global or national or statewide. Let's crawl before we can walk. And that's the education piece. And education falls within our salutogenic model, which is educating the public. But in order for people to gain access to the plant, we need to have it be accessible within the medical community. So we have another model that we're working with in another mission, which is basically to make cannabis medicine the new standard of care. And it's customized cannabis medicine, not just access to the plant. We're going to really learn and understand this plant and how you can customize it and make it extremely specific to the individual that you're staring at in front of you.
How many people do you have now in your collaboration?
We have 3 board of advisors, and then our small team is a team of 3, and then we have partners that are going to be facilitating all of this, which would be local clinics, our partner with our medical marijuana certifier, and then another clinic certifying patients, as well as a Dr. Harold Smith at the University of Rochester.